What you're about to hear is a chilling story narrated by Dark Waters. Dark personally talks to these people that report these events. Sometimes he tells his personal story, and sometimes, every now and then, he'll play their actual voices. But what you're about to hear are stories of true accounts that happened. Keep in mind, Dark doesn't report and produce every story he is told. In fact, through a careful selection process, he has his own methods of detecting if the person reporting the experience is telling him true accounts of what they experienced, or if they're not. Prepare yourself for what you're about to hear. For more stories like these, head over to IamDarkWaters.com for more content from the King of Horror, Dark Waters.
Traffic Safety Administration saying it wants more consumers to get their recalled cars repaired. Makes sense? But guess what? They have their work cut out for them because Ford is issuing 4 new recalls right now. The 2004 Ford Fusion has been recalled 3 times in the past week alone. Joining me now, the car coach, Lauren Fix. All right, Lauren, good to see you. Tell me what Ford models are being affected and what are the problems?
Well, some of them are current 2013 to 2015 Ford Fusions and Lincoln MKZs.
Let me tell you something here. We have to show it in a scroll because there are so many recalls.
Oh, I know.
You can't put it in one full screen. Tell me what's going on with the Ford Fusion, though. That's a bunch of recalls for a lot of different things, and some of them are dangerous. I mean, you sort of intimated that some of the other things weren't important. The Fusion recalls are.
Right, they're not as critical. I think it depends. And the Fusion recalls are pretty aggressive. And in some cases, what you have to know is like an attachment to a door latch is obviously pretty critical because it's where keeps you in the vehicle. The vehicle itself, many of them.
Now that's interesting because I was wondering, because it's not just the latch, it's also steering, it's also other
fuel
problems,
pump.
the fuel pump as well. So these are things that are critical. And now you're telling me the very car you're hoping that first-time buyers will get into
is a mess.
Yeah,
the first-time buyer would most likely be a Fiesta or a Focus.
All right.
Extremely proactive.
Look, my view on this is that you need to get the car fixed. And I don't want to dissuade people from getting the car fixed by saying these are unimportant because
nothing's unimportant.
If your door isn't going to stay closed, that's a problem.
Right. I think
let's move on.
The big thing is Rosekind is putting pressure on all the manufacturers that even the littlest thing needs to be addressed.
Okay.
When I bought my 2010 Ford Fusion, I had no freaking clue about the problems with these vehicles. The numerous recalls, traction control issues, fuel injection problems, and I damn sure didn't know anything about the issues with the throttle body. It literally turns the engine off while you're driving, leaving you coasting down the road. If you have a 2010 Ford Fusion, if you have experienced this, then you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. It literally shuts the engine off while you're driving down the road, leaving you just to coast on down the highway. Listen to me good. It's a Thursday night. I leave the Applebee's in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, about 8:45 p.m. My boss and I had met there for drinks after work because we had a huge meeting coming up with the Department of Transportation. I'm driving along Highway 98, headed home, listening to Alex Jones on the radio. And that evening, I was in a fantastic mood. You see, that meeting that we were going to have with the Department of Transportation was about providing road striping services for all the highways in the state of Mississippi. Now, of course, we had to go through the public bidding process, but we had an inside connection that guaranteed us that if we didn't get all, we would get some of the work. Landing this contract would get me a cool $145,000 bonus. And you know how it is when you know you got money coming your way. You start imagining things. I'm driving along the highway, thinking about the 4x4 that I want to buy, and how I would use some of that money to pay off a large portion of my family's debt. All kinds of things are running through my mind, and I've started to zone out. You know how it is when you're driving and you're paying attention to the road 100%, but you're kind of on autopilot. That's where I was. I get off the interstate. When I get to Old Salt Road, the car begins to stutter and shake. I hit the gas and the freaking engine shuts off. Now I'm just rolling along this 2-lane highway. Understand, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I'm freaking out. I slow down, pull over, crank it back up, and after a few minutes, it's running normal again. I get about a mile down the road, and it does it again. I pull over, crank it back up, and it starts running normal again. Now, I already explained to you that I left Applebee's at 8:45, right? And I don't know if you've ever been on a 2-lane highway riding through the backwoods of Mississippi, but it's pitch black and dark. This pulling over and stopping on a 2-lane highway with ditches on both sides was not safe and couldn't go on. Now I'm riding a little bit slower, looking left and right, trying to find a way to turn off and call a tow truck, when the car does it again. This time, instead of pulling over, I downshift to neutral, turn the ignition, and the car cranks up. Great, wonderful. Now I have a working solution. I shift back to drive, and I'm moving again. But my car keeps shutting off every 2 to 3 miles. Now listen to this. I'm coming around this curve moving at about 60 miles an hour when the engine shuts off. I look down, shift to neutral, turn the ignition, and I'm waiting for the car to crank up. And when I look ahead in front of me, there is this creature about 45 yards away stepping across the road. And when I say stepping, I mean in 2 steps. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Dark Waters, the best in the business, and I'm doing what I do. Listen to me. Today, I'm going to be dropping a shitload of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just dropping just because I got it to drop. So buckle your seatbelts and just go ahead and enjoy. Members, it's going to be a great Saturday for you. Non-members, I don't know what I can say to you except for become a member, because I'm going to keep dropping and keep dropping. And the more I drop, the more value I add to the website, the more it makes sense for you to join and become a member. Eventually, you'll get to that point where you understand it as more and more stuff rolls out. At this point in time, it only costs $4.99. And for those of you who used to be members and lost your membership, you can always go back in at your original price. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to hop on board the Dark Waters train. Get you a good seat. We got plenty of window seats for you, baby. Smoking is allowed, drinking is allowed. It's all good. Kick back, have a drink, smoke a cigarette, enjoy yourself while you on the Dark Waters train. Have fun. But I can't help you if you don't get your ass on board, baby.